Welcome to HFY Galactic Stories, original science fiction tales, where humans face impossible odds, and the galaxy pays the price for its ignorance. Listen carefully. This is where legends are born. The warning. The Grand Assembly Hall was floating in the space between stars. It was a crystal building that the Galactic Coalition used as a meeting place where everyone felt safe. Today was a day. Representatives from 47 species were there for a special meeting. You could hear a lot of voices talking at the same time. Each species was speaking their language. The universal translators were helping everyone understand what was being said. The translators were changing the words into something that the Galactic Coalition could comprehend. The Grand Assembly Hall was filled with the sound of all these translated voices. The Galactic Coalition was using this place to have an emergency session. The representatives of the 47 species were all trying to be heard. Ambassador Krell of the Dorvax stood on the platform. The artificial lights made his silver skin shine. He had his forearms wrapped together. This was a sign that the Dorvax people used to show they were very serious. There were decks floating in the air around him. These decks had people from over the universe, but Ambassador Krell of the Dorvax was only looking at one group, the Zintian Collective. He was really focused on the Zintian Collective. The Zintians were a proud people who were good at fighting. Their hard outer shells looked like black stone. They had taken over 12 systems in the 100 years. They always wanted to get bigger, have more space and things. The Zintians had a leader named Thrain. He sat higher than the Zintians. His mouth parts were. Krell knew that meant Thrain was getting annoyed. The Zintians and their leader Thrain were waiting for something to happen. Delegates, Krell said, and you could hear his voice all around the room. He had called this meeting to tell them something important. The Zintian Collective has said they want to move into the Outer Rim territories. The Zintian Collective is going to be in the area as the Zintian Collective, and they will meet people called humanity. The Zintian Collective will have to deal with humanity when they get to the Outer Rim territories. A murmur went through the crowd. The humans were still pretty new to being in the galaxy. It had only been 30 years since they figured out how to travel than light. They had set up a few colonies here and there. To other species, humans were not that important. They were just one of many groups that could travel through space, and there were thousands of these groups, so humans were barely noticed. The humans were still seen as insignificant by most of the other species in the galaxy. Why should we care about this? Thrain's voice was really loud in the room. It sounded mean. Like he did not want to hear it. The humans are not very smart. They do not have an army. They do not have good technology. The humans have 7 worlds, that is all. 7 worlds for the humans. The Zintian Collective has a lot more. It has hundreds of worlds. The Zintian Collective is much bigger than the humans. Krell's skin turned really dark, which is a deal for his people because it means they are feeling something very strongly. Commander Thrain, I want you to pay attention to what I am going to say. A time ago, 50 years ago, my people did something really bad. We met the humans. We thought, just like you do, that they were not important. My people, the ones I come from, we thought the humans were no deal. The room fell silent. The Dorvax are famous everywhere in the galaxy for being careful, thinking things through, and not wanting to fight. So when Krell said something was wrong, people listened to the Dorvax. The Dorvax do not usually make mistakes. That is why what Krell said about a mistake was important. Krell went on to say that a time ago people had just set up their very first colony outside of our own solar system. Our team of explorers found a place where humans were doing research in the Kepler 442 system. This place was really small. It was floating around a big gas giant. There were 200 scientists living there, and they were trying to learn more about strange particles that were coming from the planet's magnetosphere. The people at this human research station were very busy studying these particles in the planet's magnetosphere at the human research station. Krell stopped talking for a moment. When he started speaking, you could hear the shame in his voice. Our boss, Admiral Vex, thought this place was perfect for getting Dorvax. The human station was right in the middle of it. He did not think the humans were a deal, so he said to destroy the station. It did not take long, a few minutes. 200 humans were killed. Then we just started mining. Did not think about what happened to the humans anymore. The Dorvax mining operation was all that mattered to us. We just kept going with the Dorvax mining operation. It is a sensible choice, Thrain said. Resources need to be taken. The weak people let the strong people have what they want. This is how things usually go. The strong people take what they want. The weak people give in. The natural order is that the strong people are in charge and the weak people are not. That is what we thought, Krell said softly. We were wrong about the scientists. We did not understand what we had done to the scientists. You see, the 200 scientists had families that loved them. The scientists had friends who cared about them, colleagues who worked with the scientists, and entire networks of people who loved the scientists. The thing about humans is that humans remember the scientists. Krell turned on a display. Now people could see pictures floating in the air above where everyone was standing. These pictures showed Dorvak's ships and stations and even some of their colonies. Each one of these pictures had a timestamp on it. 6 months after we destroyed their station, things started to get weird at our mining place. Our equipment would break down a lot. We had power failures too. It was not like everything was falling, but it was enough to make our work slower. We looked into it. We did not find anything that made sense. Then our ships began having trouble navigating when they came into the system. Our mining operation was really being affected by this. Again, we could not find out what was causing these navigation errors to our ships. The images just kept on going, showing places and more times, and all of these times were marked in red. The images kept showing locations and there were more timestamps too, and all of these were marked in red. 3 years after the thing that happened, one of our research vessels disappeared. This was very strange. Our research vessel was found weeks later just drifting in space. The people on the crew were alive. They were not awake, they were sedated. When the crew woke up, they told us that humans had gone onto their ship. The humans did not hurt the crew. The humans just copied all the information from the ship's computers. They made very detailed pictures of all our research vessel's technology and then they left. The humans left a message that said, "We are learning about our research vessels." The message from the humans said, "We are learning," and that is all they said about what they did to our research vessels. A few delegates moved around in their seats looking a bit uneasy. The Xinthians did not move. Krell could tell that the Xinthians were paying closer attention to what was happening. We did not hear from Admiral Vex for a time, about 10 years. He had stopped working. Was living on our homeworld. There were a lot of security people around him. He had the best protection that our people could give. One morning Admiral Vex was not in his house anymore. Nothing bad had happened, like alarms going off or people breaking in. There was no fight. Admiral Vex was just not there. Krell's skin had gotten really dark, it was almost black now. We found him 3 days later in a courtroom on Earth. The humans had taken Krell. They had traveled away 800 light years to get to our place. They got into our secure facilities, which is really hard to do, and they took Krell out without anyone seeing them until it was too late. Then the humans put Krell on trial. "That is impossible," one of the delegates whispered quietly to the others. Krell said, "I watched the trial myself. The humans showed us some evidence. This included recordings from our ships. There was also testimony from our crew members who were on the ships when we attacked. The humans made a list of every person who died in that station. They told us about these people's families. They told us about their lives and their dreams. The humans wanted us to see these people as people, not as people who got in our way. They wanted us to think about the humans and what they lost when we attacked. The trial was about the humans. What happened to them? The holographic display. I saw a courtroom where humans go to court. A woman who was really old stood at the front talking to everyone. Her face had a lot of wrinkles from being old. Her eyes were still really sharp and easy to see. The woman at the podium looked like she had been around for a time. The holographic display was showing this courtroom with the old woman standing there. That woman was Dr. Sarah Mitchell, Krell explained. She was the mother of a scientist who got killed when we attacked. Dr. Sarah Mitchell was 67 years old when our attack destroyed the station. After that, Dr. Sarah Mitchell spent the rest of her life trying to get justice. Dr. Sarah Mitchell learned our language, studied our laws. She also understood our technology. When Dr. Sarah Mitchell was 93 years old, she went to court, prosecuted Admiral Vex using Dorvak's law. Krell let that sink in. That is a long time, 26 years. An elderly human woman had spent all of those 26 years getting ready to hold Krell accountable. She was going to make sure Krell paid for what Krell did. The trial went on for 3 months. The people proved that Admiral Vex did all the things he was accused of. We have our laws and we use them to decide what is right and wrong. Admiral Vex was found guilty of murder. He was given a sentence to stay in prison for the rest of his life. The people did not want him to be killed. They did not want to get at him. They just wanted things to be fair. They wanted our laws to be used to decide what should happen to Admiral Vex. The trial was held in our courts and our judges were in charge. The people wanted justice for what Admiral Vex did. They wanted it to happen according to our own rules. Thrain said this. He did not sound as sure of himself as he did before. You want us to be afraid of the Xanthian species just because they caught one old admiral, one admiral who is not even working anymore, one admiral who is retired. No, Commander. I want you to be afraid of them because they caught 47 people. They found every person who was part of the attack on that station. This includes every officer who gave the orders, every person who operated the weapons and fired the shots, and every technician who took care of the systems. It took them 50 years to do this. They found every single one of the people who were involved. Some of these people were hiding in colonies that were far away. Some had changed who they were so nobody would know them. Some were even being protected by the military in places. None of that mattered to them. The people discovered all of the humans. Krell's forearms spread wide. They followed us around the galaxy. They figured out how our technology works, the way we fight and where we hide. They got to know everything about the Dorvax people, our way of life and how we do things. They did all this without fighting us. They were friends with our leaders. They did not hurt our people who were not fighters. They just kept looking for the people who did something wrong. They did not stop until things were made right. They kept going until justice was done for the Dorvax people. Krell's forearms are still spread wide as he talks about what they did to us. The chamber was completely silent now. I want to tell you something, Commander Thrain. Your people are going to do the thing we did. You think the humans are not strong, that they do not matter. You believe you can just take what you want from them and nothing bad will happen. I have seen what the humans do when you hurt them. The humans do not get angry in a way. They do not try to get at you without thinking. The humans become very patient, they think things through. They just keep going until they get what they want. The humans will learn about the humans' enemy, which is you, Commander Thrain. The humans will find every weakness that you and your people have. They will never forget this, it will always be remembered by them. They will never ever forget it. Thrain stood up. His exoskeleton made a creaking sound. The Dorvax people are very careful, Ambassador. This makes them think there are dangers when there are not. The Zynthian collective is not scared of humans. We have taken over groups that are a lot smarter than humans. If humans want to fight for what they think is right, let them try. The Zynthian collective will. Humans will lose. The Dorvax do not need to worry about humans. The Zynthian collective is strong. Humans are no match for us. Then I have failed, Krell said quietly. I came to this place hoping I could stop what happened to the people of Krell from happening to the people of this place. Now I see that some things you just have to learn for yourself. I will say this. When the humans come to get you, and the humans will come, remember what I am saying. Remember that I told you this. Remember that you had a choice to make. The humans are going to come for you, and when they do, remember that Krell warned you. The session ended after that. The Zynthian delegation. They still felt really good about things. Some other delegates went to talk to Krell. A few of them said sorry about what happened, and some others asked him questions about the methods. Krell did not really listen to what they were saying. The Zynthian delegation and their situation were already on his mind. He was thinking about when things would happen and how likely they were to happen and what would be the result of all this. The Zynthian delegation was still a deal to Krell. 3 weeks went by. Then the Zynthian collective started to attack the human colony Delta 7. This attack was very fast and very violent. The Zynthian collective used guns in space to destroy the defenses of the planet in just a few minutes. The Zynthian collective army moved into the towns and cities on the planet, fought against the human civilians who were trying to defend themselves with simple guns. The humans did not have a chance because the Zynthian collective was too strong. In 2 days the Zynthian collective was in complete control of the human colony Delta 7. The Zynthian collective had won the fight and the human colony Delta 7 was theirs now. Commander Thrain was standing in the governor's mansion on Delta 7. He was looking out at the city that the Delta 7 forces now occupied. The city below him was still a mess. There were fires burning in a lot of areas. The humans had put up a fight. They had fought a lot harder than Commander Thrain and the Delta 7 forces had thought they would. Commander Thrain had never thought that the humans would actually win. The outcome was always going to be the same. The Delta 7 forces were going to take over the city on Delta 7. What are the casualties? He asked his second-in-command. There is not much to report from our side. We have seen around 8,000 deaths and most of these people were civilians who did not want to give up. The human deaths are a part of this story. We also have around 50,000 humans in detention facilities. The detention facilities are holding a lot of humans. Thrain clicked his mandibles in satisfaction. This is great, he said. Start taking out the resources now. Make sure the detention centers are really secure. I do not want the people we are holding to think about trying to fight back or start a resistance movement against the detention centers and the resource extraction operations. I want the detention centers to be completely safe and I want the resource extraction operations to go smoothly. Yes, Commander. As his officer walked away, Thrain looked out at the world that the Zynthian collective had taken over. The humans can come and try to get justice if they want to, Thrain thought to himself. They can definitely try. All they will find is how powerful the Zynthian collective is and they will figure out where they stand in the galaxy. The Zynthian collective is not going to back down. The humans will have to deal with the Xinthian collective. Way up above the planet there was a small human ship. It was hiding in the shadow of Delta 7's moon. This ship was taking note of everything that was happening. The only person on the ship was Dr. Elena Russo. She was looking at her screens, seeing the whole thing unfold. Dr. Elena Russo used to work on Delta 7 as a person who studied life forms. Her husband and her son were in the capital city when the attack started. The attack was really bad. Dr. Elena Russo was worried about her family. She was all alone on the ship watching what was happening to Delta 7. She got away on a research ship hours before the invasion. Now she was watching her home go up in flames. She was watching her people being rounded up and taken to detention camps. She felt something cold and hard form in her chest. She felt it when she thought about her home burning. She felt it when she thought about her people being hurt. The research vessel was her escape. Elena opened a connection to Earth. This is Dr. Elena Russo sending a message, from where I'm, which is a place called Delta 7 Moon Alpha. The colony is gone. I think 8,000 people are dead, and that includes regular people who live there. The Xinthians are taking over the colony for good. They are making it their own. Thought about her family. She thought about all the families that were torn apart because of the attack. The families that were hurt by the attack were on her mind. Requesting permission to begin protocol remembrance. The answer came after a long time. You have permission, doctor. I hope justice helps you do the thing. Elena Russo decided to head her ship towards the system, which meant she was starting the long trip back home. The people of ZYNTH were happy because they won easily. They did not know that they just did something that would cause a lot of trouble, and this trouble was going to be much worse than if Elena Russo and her people had fought back. People had given humanity a reason to remember humanity. This is something that will stay with humanity for a time. Humanity will always be grateful for this reason to remember humanity. And humans never forget. The hunt is starting now. It is going to be an exciting time. The hunt. We have to be ready for it. We will search for what we're looking for, and the hunt begins. Will be a fun experience. 3 years had passed since the fall of Delta 7, and the Xinthian collective was starting to get what Ambassador Krell was talking about when he warned them. The Xinthian collective was beginning to see that Ambassador Krell's warning was really important. The warning from Ambassador Krell was something the Xinthian collective was thinking about a lot. Commander Thrain was in the war room of the collective's command station. He was looking at the display and he was getting more and more frustrated. The collective's tactical display had a lot of markers on it. These red markers were on a map. Each red marker was for a facility or an outpost or a vessel of the collective that was not working anymore. The collective had lost a lot of facilities and outposts and vessels in the 36 months. There were over 200 markers on the map now. The collective's facilities and outposts and vessels that were not working were in 6 systems of the collective. Commander Thrain was staring at all these markers on the tactical display of the collective. Explain this to me again, Thrain said. His voice was really quiet, which was scary. How does the species manage to cause problems across half of our territory when the species does not have a lot of ships? The intelligence officer, a Xinthian named Vectos, was really uneasy. He said to the commander, the humans are not fighting us in a way. They are doing things we have never seen before. The humans are attacking our infrastructure, our supply lines and our communication networks. Then the humans just vanish before we can do anything about it. The humans are being very tricky. It is causing us a lot of trouble. The commander needs to know that the humans are not playing by the rules. Our soldiers talk about these things called ghost ships. That is what they are called by our soldiers. These are vessels with people on them that show up on our sensors for a short time before they disappear. They have some kind of technology that helps them hide, and we are not able to track ghost ships. Thrain's jaws clicked in annoyance. That is impossible. The sensor technology that Thrain and his people have is better than anything that humans have. So how did humans make something better in 3 years? Thrain's mandibles clicked again, really bothering him. The stealth capabilities that humans have now are better than what Thrain and his people have. That is what is really annoying Thrain. Commander, Vectos said this in a way. They did not make this technology, Commander. They took it from someone. When we look at the way they are attacking us, it seems like they are using technology from the Xinthians. They have made some changes to it. What they do is they catch our ships, then they study the systems on our ships. After that they use those systems against us. They are using technology against us, Commander. The map got closer to one of the dots and we saw what was left of a place where they kept supplies in the Arcturus sector. This place was really messed up, a bunch of bent metal and junk all over the place. The supply depot in the Arcturus sector was totally destroyed. This depot was destroyed 2 weeks ago, Vectos explained. The depot was completely destroyed. Nobody sent out a distress signal when the depot was attacked. We did not see the people who attacked the depot. The security footage of the depot shows that the power to the depot was turned off exactly 7 minutes before the explosions started at the depot. It looks like someone who was inside the depot messed with our power system to cause this problem at the depot. How many casualties? 147 Xinthian personnel. All civilian contractors working in resource processing. Thrain felt a chill in his chest. He said, "These are contractors, they are not military targets." "No, Commander. This is all part of what's happening. The humans are going after everyone who was involved in the Delta 7 operation. They are targeting commanders, the people who are occupying the area, the staff who do the administrative work, and even the contractors who helped set up the detention facilities. The humans are going through a list of people, and Delta 7 operation is what they are focusing on. They are targeting everyone who was part of the Delta 7 operation. I have a list." This thought keeps repeating in Thrain's mind. It is similar to what the Dorvax went through 50 years. The list is all Thrain can think about. "Show me the personnel records," Thrain said. He wanted to see the personnel records for himself. The personnel records were what Thrain was looking for. The screen. It showed information about people from Xinthian. Each piece of information had a date on it and a place where it happened. Thrain knew some of the names. They were officers who were part of the group that invaded Delta 7. He asked if all these people were the ones who took part in the occupation. "Yes, Commander. The humans have taken away around 400 people who work with Delta 7. They began with the people on the ground, then they went after the people on the spaceships. Now they are going after the office staff. The humans are being very careful and doing this one step at a time, focusing on Delta 7. They are really going after Delta 7 in an organized way." Ambassador Krell used these words to describe someone: patient, relentless. These are the words Ambassador Krell had used. He said they were methodical, patient, and relentless like that. Ambassador Krell really meant it when he said methodical, patient, and relentless. Thrain asked what happens to the people they capture. He thought he probably already knew what they do with the captured people. "The people in charge take the guys to Earth so they can be judged, Commander. We found out what really happened from 3 people who were caught and then let go. The humans show proof of the things that were done when the other guys were in control. They write down everything that happened, what people were told to do, what they actually did, and who got hurt. Then they have a trial. It is all done according to the rules that humans follow. And the sentences? The variable is a thing. People who are found guilty of doing what they were told but did not do anything bad will go to prison. People who killed innocent civilians will get in a lot of trouble. The humans are looking at what each person did and deciding what should happen to them. They are making decisions based on what the variable people did. How bad it was. The humans are trying to figure out who is really responsible for the variable." Thrain turned away from the display. Thought about what he just learned. It would be simpler if the humans just killed all the people they caught. That is what a mean enemy would do. Thrain could deal with that. The humans are not doing that. The humans are doing something that's like justice. They are being very careful and precise about it. This is what makes the humans so scary. The humans and their idea of justice are very frightening to Thrain. Thrain asked where Dr. Elena Russo is now. Vectos pulled up a file. The face of a woman showed up on the screen. This woman was probably in her mid-40s. She had hair that was pulled back in a simple way. Her eyes were really sad. They also looked very strong. Vectos saw a lot of sadness in the woman's eyes. He also saw a lot of determination in the eyes of this human woman. "Dr. Russo is the person in charge of what people call the Memorial Fleet," Vectos explained. "She lost her husband and her son when the Xinthians first attacked Delta 7. Dr. Russo has spent the 3 years trying to find out everything about the Xinthians who were part of the occupation. She wants to catch them or stop them. The Memorial Fleet and Dr. Russo are focused on the Xinthians and what they did. Dr. Russo is working hard to make sure the Xinthians are held accountable for what they did to her family and to the people of Delta 7. The Xinthians are the ones who started all of this. Dr. Russo is determined to see it through." Thrain said, "One woman?" He could not believe it. One human woman is doing all of this by herself. "Commander, she is not alone. The woman has a group of people who help her. There are 12,000 humans in this group. All of these people lost someone they loved on Delta 7. They have a name for their group. It is called the Remembrance. The Remembrance has teams that do different things. They have people who gather information, people who get technology, people who plan attacks, and people who work with the law to prosecute others. The Remembrance works together well, almost as well as our own military." The display showed pictures of ships. They were all different. Some of these ships looked like they were made from old parts that people had found and fixed together. Others looked really nice and fancy. These human ships were very sophisticated. The Memorial Fleet has a lot of ships, Vectos said. It has 230 ships. Most of these ships were not made for fighting, they were used by people. The Memorial Fleet has taken some ships from the Xinthian military, around 40 ships, and they are using them now. They have bases in 7 systems, and these systems are not controlled by us. The Memorial Fleet is also getting help from species because these species think the Xinthian collective is being very aggressive. Which species? Thrain asked in a voice. He really wanted to know the answer to this question. What kind of species was it that they were talking about? Thrain was getting a little impatient. He wanted to know about the species. The Dorvax are helping the humans with information and technical support. The humans have a place to stay in the Chorus Federation space. Some trading groups that do not take sides have also given the Dorvax and the humans things they need. The humans are not alone, Commander. The Dorvax and the humans have friends who are helping them. Thrain felt the weight of his mistake bearing down on him. This was all because of what he did 3 years. He had ignored Ambassador Krell's warning. At that time he thought humans were not very advanced, they were just getting in the way. Now those humans were taking apart the Xinthian control of Delta 7, piece by piece. They were also searching for everyone who was part of the occupation of Delta 7, and they were determined to find them. The Xinthian occupation of Delta 7 was falling apart. Thrain knew he was in trouble because of his own actions against the humans. The man wanted to know what was going on with Delta 7. He asked about the status of Delta 7 itself. Things are getting really bad. The occupation force is not what it used to be. We have lost a lot of people because of attacks. Now the occupation force is 60% of what it was at the start. We are having a lot of trouble getting the things we need. The supply lines are always being disrupted. The detention facilities are also a problem. There have been 3 breakouts in the past year. A lot of humans have escaped. 15,000. They have all gone to join the resistance. The occupation force is losing control of the situation, Commander. The humans are getting stronger. We are losing control. The resistance is getting more and more humans to join them. Thrain made a decision. He said, we need to get out of Delta 7. We have to pull all the Xinthian personnel out of the system. If we cannot hold Delta 7, there is no point in continuing to lose soldiers. Commander, the Collective Council is going to think that we failed. The thing is, we have never given up on a planet that we took over. We have always kept control of the worlds that we conquered. The Collective Council will see this as a loss for us. That is not good for our reputation. We have to think about what the Collective Council will think because they are the ones who make the decisions. The Collective Council will look at this. Say that we did not do our job, and that is not what we want. The Council has to get what we are up against. These humans are different from species we have taken over. They do not give up. The humans do not give in. The humans remember, and the humans just keep coming back at us. This really got everyone's attention. An alarm started blasting over the command station. The red emergency lights started flashing. The command station was filled with the sound of the alarm, and the lights were flashing over the place. The red emergency lights were really flashing. Thrain said, report, in a voice. Commander, we have a lot of security problems in Area 7 to 12. There are people who should not be here on our station. Our security people are trying to do something about it. The officer's voice stopped suddenly. Thrain turned on his communicator. He said, I need all the security people to get to the command level now. We have to keep the war room safe, know what happens to everything else. The man pulled out his plasma rifle. The other officers in the room did the thing. They stood in a circle around the doors to protect themselves. The plasma rifles were pointed at the doors that were closed and would not open. The officers were ready for something to happen at the sealed doors of the room. How did those people get on the station? Vectos whispered. The security on this station is really good. It is the best in the fleet. Because they have been studying us, Thrain said with a face. They know the systems of our place better than the people who actually work with the systems of our place do. The lights in the war room just went out. Then the emergency power came on after a while, and it made everything look really red. The tactical display started to work for a second, but then it stopped working altogether. The war room was pretty dark except for that red glow from the emergency power. Then a voice came over the station's communication system. The voice was really calm. Sounded like a normal person. It was a voice, no question about that. Commander Thrain of the Xinthian Collective, I am Dr. Elena Russo of the Remembrance. I want to tell you that I am on your command station now. I have a team of 40 operatives with me. We did something to your reactor, it is not working anymore. We also closed all the hangar bays so nothing can come or go. The Xinthian Collective command station is not moving, it is stuck in space. Thrain's grip got really tight on his weapon. "How did you manage to do that?" he said. His voice was full of surprise. Thrain was still trying to figure out what had just happened with the weapon, and he wanted to know how it was done. Elena's voice kept going. She said, "How did we get past your security? We have been getting ready for this for a time, Commander. We have been planning this for 18 months. We know this station well. We know all the systems and all the security rules. We even know the points in your defenses. We know all this because we have been hearing what you talk about. We have been looking at what you do and learning from the Xinthian places we have taken over. We have been doing this for a long time now. We know everything about this station, and that is how we got in. If you think you can take over this station, you are really mistaken," Thrain said when he spoke into the communication panel. "The Xinthian soldiers on this station are a lot. There are than 3,000 Xinthian soldiers on this station. I do not want to take your place as commander. I want to take you with me." Before Thrain could say anything, the main door of the war room blew in. Someone had put bombs in just the right spots to break the strong doors without making the whole room lose air. The room filled with smoke as people in armor came in through the hole. The war room was now a mess because of the explosion and the smoke. The armored figures in the war room were moving quickly through the smoke. The Xinthian officers started shooting, and their plasma rifles made the smoke look really bright. The human operatives knew what they were doing. They moved fast and used the things in the room to hide behind. They shot back at the officers with guns that Thrain knew were Xinthian military rifles, but they had been changed in some way. The human operatives were using military rifles against the Xinthian officers. The fight with the officers was over really fast. It was very violent. It only took 1.5 minutes, and all of the Xinthian officers except Thrain were hurt. They were wounded but still alive. Now Thrain found himself surrounded by humans who were wearing combat armor. These humans had their guns pointed at the Xinthian officer Thrain from every side. One of the humans stepped forward, took off her helmet. Dr. Elena Russo looked at the human with those eyes, and they also looked very determined. The eyes of Dr. Elena Russo were really sad, determined at the same time. "Commander Thrain," she said in a voice. "Commander Thrain is in trouble. He did some bad things to the people who live on Delta 7. Now Commander Thrain has to go to court. He told his people to kill a lot of civilians, around 8,000 of them. Commander Thrain also took over a place that belongs to humans, which is not right." Thrain's jaws clicked fast because he was so angry and could not believe what was happening. "You really think you can get out of this place alive? That is crazy. Even if you stop the reactor from working, there are still thousands of soldiers at the station." Elena cut in. Said, "They are already asleep. We gave them a kind of sleepy medicine that we sent through the air they breathe. Your men will wake up in 6 hours and they will just have a little headache. That is all. We do not want to kill people if we do not have to, Commander. We are not like the soldiers you have. We do not like to hurt people for no reason." She pointed to her team. Two of the people on her team, the operatives, took a step forward. They had some restraints with them, and these restraints were made just for Xinthian physiology. The operatives were ready to use the restraints on the Xinthians. Thrain said to them as they tied his arms up, "You looked for us for 3 years. You wanted to catch us for 3 years. Now you finally have us. So I have to ask, was catching us really worth all that time and trouble?" Elena looked at him for a long time before she said anything. "My son Marcus was 7 years old when your ships showed up over Delta 7. Marcus loved to draw pictures of spaceships. He really wanted to be an explorer when he grew up. My husband David was a botanist, which means he studied plants that were native to Delta 7. David would spend his mornings working in the greenhouse and his evenings teaching Marcus about how living things depend on each other and why it's so important to take care of the earth. My son Marcus was a kid and he loved learning about these things from his father David." She stopped talking for a moment. Her voice was steady. You could tell she was really upset. "Your attack killed them. It also killed 8,000 people. These people had names, they had families, they had things they wanted to do. They had plans for their lives. You took all of that away from them in a few hours. You did it without stopping to think, without feeling bad for them, without trying to find out who they were. You just did it to the people, to the 8,000 people. That is what really hurts. The 8,000 people are gone because of what you did." Elena took a step closer to Thrain. She said, "So yes, Commander. I spent 3 years getting ready for this. I spent 3 years learning everything about you and the people who follow you. I also spent 3 years working with thousands of people who lost someone they care about just like I did. It was all worth it. You see, Commander, humans have memories. We remember what happened to us. Humans do not forgive people who hurt them without punishing them. Thrain, humans will always keep trying to get justice for the people we lost. We will never give up trying to make things right for the people who are gone." She turned to her team. "Make sure the prisoner is secure. Get everything so we can get the prisoner out of here. We will be leaving with the prisoner in 10 minutes. The team needs to be ready to leave with the prisoner. The humans were doing what they were told to do. Thrain felt something that he had never felt before in his time in the military, real fear. He was not afraid of dying. That would have been easy. He was afraid of what was going to happen. The trial was coming. They would look at the evidence. They would go over every decision Thrain had made, every order he had given, every life the military had ended because of him. Thrain was afraid of the trial. What would happen to him? The military would look at everything he had done. The humans took him away from the station in a courier ship that they had taken control of. When the crew who were given sedatives started to wake up, the Remembrance was already away and Commander Thrain was on his way to Earth. He had already covered half the distance to Earth. The Remembrance and Commander Thrain were gone. The trial of Commander Thrain was a deal. It happened over 6 months. Everybody in the galaxy wanted to see what would happen. The Commander Thrain trial became the watched event in the whole galaxy. There were people from 40 species who came to watch the trial of Commander Thrain. They included Ambassador Krell from the Dorvax. Ambassador Krell sat in the gallery every day to watch the trial of Commander Thrain. His skin was silver. It showed how he was feeling. The trial of Commander Thrain was very important to Ambassador Krell and the Dorvax. The people showed a lot of proof. They had tapes of messages from the military. They had statements from soldiers who were caught and decided to talk. They had evidence from Delta 7 that showed everything that had happened. They had the names of the people who died. All 8,000 names. Along with what happened to them, their families, and how they lived. They had the stories of the people who died, the Xinthian military actions, and the evidence from Delta 7, which was very clear. The people who were killed, the Xinthian soldiers, and the evidence from Delta 7 all pointed to the thing. Dr. Elena Russo was the person in charge of presenting the case. Dr. Elena Russo spoke in a clear way, carefully putting together the evidence against Thrain. Dr. Elena Russo did not want to get at Thrain. Dr. Elena Russo wanted Thrain to be held responsible for what they did. The trial of Commander Thrain went on for 4 months. When it was over, the International Human Court said that Commander Thrain was guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity and illegal occupation of other people's land. Commander Thrain had to go to a prison for aliens, and Commander Thrain would have to stay there for the rest of his life. The trial did a lot more than just punish one person. It showed everyone in the galaxy that humans will not give up easily. If you attack humans, they will find out everything about you. If you hurt humans, they will keep looking for justice. They will never stop. If you try to break humans, they will only become stronger and more determined to keep going. The humans will do everything to make sure that they get what they want and that they are safe. The trial was a warning to everyone that humans are not people to be messed with. The humans will always stand up for themselves. They will always fight back. The Xinthian collective decided to leave Delta 7 and all the places where humans live. They said sorry in a statement and started giving money to the people who survived. This change did not happen because the Xinthian collective felt bad for what they did. It happened because they were afraid of what the humans could do. The humans showed that they can get to the Xinthian collective no matter how strong or safe they thought they were. The humans can reach the Xinthian collective anywhere. Ambassador Krell went to see Elena after the trial was over. Ambassador Krell and Elena met in a garden in Geneva. The garden was really nice. Had plants from Earth that were moving slowly in the wind. Dr. Russo, Krell said, his 4 arms folded respectfully. He wanted to tell Dr. Russo that what Dr. Russo did here is really going to change the galaxy. Now other species get that humanity is not something to be taken lightly or beat up on easily. Dr. Russo did something and it will make a difference to humanity. Elena looked out at the garden. She thought about her own husband's greenhouse. It is now ash and a memory. We did not do this to scare the galaxy, ambassador, she said. We did it because it was the thing to do. Those 8,000 people deserve justice. Marcus and the people like David and all the others deserve to be remembered. They deserve to have people think about them and what happened to them. Krell said this in a voice. He said, and they will be. He meant it. The galaxy now knows that people are special. People can take feelings and make them into something good. They can take sadness. Make it into a reason to do something. They can take hurt. Make it into a strong desire to help others. People want to protect others from feeling the kind of pain. The galaxy has learned that humans can do this. Humans can take a time and make it into a way to keep others safe. This is what people do. They turn things into a way to help others. Elena nodded slowly. I really hope that works out. I hope that no other species makes the mistake that the Xinthians did. The thing is, we do not want other species to be afraid of us. What we actually want is for the Xinthians and other species to just leave us alone and let us have some peace. We want the Xinthians and other species to let us live our lives without bothering us. The galaxy gets it now, Krell told her. Humans will go to a lot of trouble to make sure things are fair. They will even travel across galaxies if they have to. You also showed that you can be kind. You could have killed Commander Thrain and all the people who work for him. Instead you gave them a chance to say what happened. You listened to what they had to say. You punished them in a way that was fair. The galaxy understands that the humans made a choice to be kind to Commander Thrain and his officers, and that is important. The way humans handled the situation with Commander Thrain and his officers matters. It shows that humans care about being fair and just. As Krell departed, Elena stayed in the garden looking at the sun going down over Earth. The memorial fleet was being taken out of service now. The people in it were going back to their lives. They were different now because of what they saw and what they did with the memorial fleet. Delta 7 was being rebuilt. People were coming back to Delta 7. Babies were being born in Delta 7 who would grow up in a world where they were free. This world was not made free because of the military. It was made free because of the will of the people of Delta 7 who did not want to see bad things happen. The people of Delta 7 were determined to stop injustice in Delta 7. Elena thought about what the future would be like. She thought about what the galaxy had learned from everything that happened. The galaxy had learned a lesson about underestimating humanity. Elena thought about Marcus and his love for drawing pictures of spaceships. She thought about David and how he took care of his plants. Elena knew that people would remember Marcus and David and all the other people who died, 8,000 souls. Their memory would live on in the hearts of people, not in big monuments or books about history. The galaxy had changed because of humanity. That is how people would remember them, because of the big change that humanity made in the galaxy. Humanity had really changed the galaxy. You should never attack the humans. The humans have the ability to be just and show mercy. The humans will do a lot to keep each safe. You have to remember that the humans are capable of doing things to help each other because they care about one another. The humans will go to lengths to protect the humans they care about. The galaxy had been warned. People in the galaxy knew something was coming. The galaxy was told to be ready for something. The galaxy had been. Now it was time to see what would happen to the galaxy. And the galaxy would remember.